done, Connor. That was fantastic. I was nearly bopping there for a minute, but I had to get back up and introduce our next guests. We have two ladies up for you next. We have Dara Quigley and Lindsay Evans. They're from 1YI, 1 Year Initiative. Please put your hands together, guys, for Dara and Lindsay. Thank you.
To talk about my experience over the past year with becoming politically active. The 1 Year Initiative, it aims to regain some of the basic elements of democracy we've lost. You know, that demos part of democracy they thought we'd all forgotten about? Yeah. It's the ability for citizens with enough support to be able to call a referendum, and something more importantly, something we've never been able to do in this country, and that is to hold power to account. And I was never politically active before this. Before this, like everyone else in this country, I saw the headlines about the IMF. I saw headlines about austerity. And I felt powerless. I felt afraid. Like, I no longer feel this way. And I no longer feel that I'm alone, or that it's just me. One of the expected effects of austerity was that the social fabric of society, like the fabric of society, would tear itself apart. They got that one wrong. That one wrong. Because instead of turning on each other, we turn towards each other. Hang on. I'm sorry? We rediscovered the strength and the power within our communities, and in unity, which we need to spread across all communities. It doesn't matter what part of the country you come from or what part of the city you live in. This involves us all, and it involves our future. We realised that we weren't alone in our collective moral outrage at how the government attacked lone parents, attacked public health spending, brushed yet another horrific scandal under the carpet just to protect the church. But the state has made a big mistake. They fell for their own propaganda. And when the media, when the governments, when they speak of a baying mob, they don't mean violence. The state has a monopoly on violence. We've seen that. We've seen that. We've seen that from Gardaí throwing women around to the structural violence of austerity, which punishes single mothers in a cruel, Catholic way. The same tactics that push the suicide rate up to 2 a day. When the state and the media speak of a mob, the mob they mean is the one which terrifies them. The politically literate, democratically aware population makes the state and their media irrelevant. Hang on a second. Working class people fighting for democracy of their own volition, surely they're acting on the orders of their betters. Surely someone is pulling the strings behind the scenes. They can't understand us fighting for democracy because it is not part of their dog-eat-dog reality. They still think we need a leader. They cannot even conceive of us ordinary people organising ourselves, educating ourselves, educating each other and mobilising, but we are, and we are sending a message loud and clear. We don't need you anymore. We don't need you anymore. We've developed our political, economic and media education out of necessity. We don't need you to explain politics to our childlike minds. We don't need your representation. The rules of engagement to this game have changed forever. The rules of engagement to this game have changed forever, and they need to realise that. We certainly don't need representation from our political class. That officer class who sends sends us over the top with economic policy for a pat on the head from Europe. If the officer class still hasn't figured this one out, let me spell it out for you. You kill us with economics. You sacrifice your own for elite desires. Noonan blushed in front of the head of the IMF. How do you think those negotiations went? Did he fight for our health service after blushing? Or does he, like Brian Cowan, recently appointed to the board of the Beacon Private Hospital Group, stand to make a lot of money from the privatisation of our health service? I don't want a private health system. I don't want my society to say one person's life is more than another's based on what is in their pocket. The one-year initiative can provide us with the mechanisms for blocking this. The political class, they've forgotten they're not a profession. It's a bunch of failed school teachers, and it's time for them to remember. It's time for them to remember who they work for. They are servants of the public, and they serve at our pleasure. That's it. Sorry, and like the officer class of the First World War, who sent men by the thousands to their deaths because they were too stupid, too arrogant, too removed to understand the destruction they caused, our officer class sent us over the top with economic policy, too disengaged for them to even imagine the suffering and misery they cause for every minuscule, deluded, fake indicator of growth. We are all unified and we are confident. For so long this state has relied on a broken, divided working class and a divided population. We felt powerless. We saw our society begin to collapse. To my mind, this is why resistance has been strongest in working class areas. We know where this road leads. We know how bad it can be, and we fought hard to survive the 80s and the early 90s and get to where we are now, and no one is going to make us go back. They call us a threat to democracy. We're the ones saving democracy. We didn't turn on each other. We protected our communities and we protected our society. The Gardaí forcibly installing an austerity measure was the first physical attack in 6 years of an economic war. You kill with economics as easily with a gun, but you will strip people of all pride and dignity first. When they could no longer hide their violence behind economic policy like civilised people, hang on. It gave us our first chance to fight back. Again, we did it peacefully, always mindful of that dangerous path this government wants to send us down again. The one-year initiative. Alright, I'm going to leave it to Lindsay to explain the one-year initiative because I've gone on too long. But I've one thing to say, and I think this is very important. We taught ourselves, and we educated ourselves out of necessity. The ability to hold power to account. Political power by removing individual politicians and the power of the media, who already face a population whose media literacy levels are through the roof. We taught ourselves about framing stories, about media class bias, about the lens of the market which attempts to subvert our humanity out of pure necessity. The media, the regime, and even parts of the organised left ignore this unity, education and strength at their peril.